Earlier this month, I traversed the North Maine woods from south to north, and I just barely had enough fuel in my gas tank to go the distance. In fact, I added the 2-gallon Roto-Pack that's on my tailgate, and it added a little bit of peace of mind toward the end of the journey. But all during the trip, I was thinking, it's my plan to go up into Newfoundland and Labrador and do some exploring, remote areas, and I don't know how far apart the gas stations are. I should really have some sort of auxiliary fuel tank. And then I was contacted by a gentleman named Rob with Long Range America, a company based in Idaho that sells auxiliary fuel tanks that are manufactured in Melbourne, Australia. This is a 17-gallon fuel tank that mounts on the opposite side of the rear drive shaft as the factory gas tank, and there's an electric pump that transfers fuel from the auxiliary to the factory tank when fuel's depleted or when you press a button on the dashboard. But I figure this was a modification that was well worth going out of my way for. So this past weekend I spent a lot of time pounding pavement, and I'm making it happen. I had the gas tank shipped to OK 4-Wheel Drive in Stortsville, New Jersey. It was a little bit of a haul for me to come here from Maine, but I know them, I trust them, and they're the best people for the job. So this is it. This is the first time I'm seeing it in real life. This is the 17-gallon auxiliary fuel tank by Long Range America. It fits the Jeep JK with a 3.6-liter Pentastar. And I had it Line-X for additional protection. And while I'm here, I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone and getting a new set of tires too, which are much needed. I looked up when I purchased these and I got 32,000 miles out of them. Honestly, I'm probably replacing them a little prematurely. Looks like I can get maybe 5,000 to 7,000 more miles, but they are rather beat up. I think this is a good opportunity to replace them. But even still, I'm extremely happy with the BF Goodrich All-Terrain KO2. This is my 3rd set since I've started doing this, making these videos and traveling, and I can depend on it. It's comfortable, it's trustworthy, and it's proven itself very capable. So I'm gonna keep getting these. They never let me down.
Can you quick?
Yeah, it's in my cup holder.
Alright. That's fine, you don't need that.
Hose clamps, fittings. Didn't I see in the video the guy got his wrench trapped in there?
Yep.
That bolt goes into the body, which holds a bracket for the fuel line. It's very stubborn, difficult to remove. Chris just finished removing the factory filler neck and hoses, and it was a very tedious process because all of this is jammed between the body and the frame rail. It's all getting replaced with new components.
The white one, in this, the white one goes to the sender, the yellow one goes to the fuel pump, and then the grounds are the grounds. They just get grounded. Yeah. I think some of them are for the evap skid, which I'm going to hold off on because the line next makes it a little tight. That actually wants really smooth. And then that's going to get held, so that goes right through that hole, won't it? I don't think your other clear one's going to fit down there, huh? You should be able to clamp it, huh? See where it's at?
Yeah, let me get it.
Let's get that one in.
Oh, we have to do something.
Let's see, because it's going to have to go back further once we get it up there, too. Let's go 2 or 3 inches
Because this is lined up with this cross member.
How are you thinking of reaching?
No.
Go up, I'll keep it over that. And you line it up. We'll push it up, line it up, put the front bolts in.
Yep.
And then we can let it hang down on the back side. We can pull the jack back further.
It's Wednesday night and I'm outside of OK 4-Wheel Drive. The guys worked really hard today, but they didn't quite finish installing the auxiliary fuel tank. There's still some electrical work to do, like wiring the switch and the fuel pump. After they take care of that stuff tomorrow morning, I'll be on my way. The most tedious part of the process today was tearing out the factory fuel filler and the adjacent equipment. But after that, the equipment from Long Range America went in relatively easily. And one thing I found now that the tank is physically installed is that it hangs about 1.5 inches lower than the factory fuel tank. This might be a consideration if you're a rock crawler and you spend a lot of time bouncing off of rocks. I do mostly overland travel. I don't see that much technical terrain, but I am going to have to be more mindful. The advantage that I gain from 17 extra gallons of gas far outweighs that minimal loss of ground clearance. But for now, I'm going to head into the camper, watch some Netflix, and just get ready for tomorrow.
Oh, it's right. See if it's dry, it'll quiet down.
It's Thursday morning. Chris just rolled the Jeep out of the shop to take it on a test drive to make sure everything's together okay and that it's not throwing any codes. But shortly after he gets back, right now, I'm probably going to head out. I'm not going to be able to get to know the tank until I actually put it through the paces and get to a gas station. But I'm grateful for OK Four-Wheel Drive, all their hard work, and also to Long Range America for introducing me to the piece in the first place. This is going to make a huge difference. How'd it go?
Beautiful.
Good, good.
Drives nice. No leaks. Ready to roll.
All right. Well, thank you again for your hard work on the Jeep, Chris.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming down, as always.
It's Thursday night. I wrapped up my visit to OK Four-Wheel Drive and drove to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where I met up with my son Cole and we went out to dinner tonight. Shout out to Naomi and Eli, who we met at the restaurant. Now, I am totally out of gas. There's no gas in the main tank and there's no gas in the new auxiliary tank. So I'm gonna head to the gas station and get that sorted. It's bright and early on Friday morning, and I'm at my parents' house in southeastern Pennsylvania. On my way here last night, I stopped at the gas station and put $90 worth of regular unleaded into both of my fuel tanks. So now the auxiliary fuel gauge reads full, and as I'm driving, when my factory fuel tank depletes, I just hit this switch. An electric pump comes on, which transfers fuel very slowly from the auxiliary tank to the factory tank. And then when my gauge reads full, I turn this off and I'm on my way. So that's awesome, and it works really well. There is a problem though. Just last night, the Jeep started stalling intermittently. It's not throwing a check engine light, and honestly, it's too early to tell exactly what the problem is, but it could be completely unrelated to the work that we just did with the auxiliary tank, or it could be something as simple as moisture in the fuel line, in which case it could likely run its course in 50 miles. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. We need to figure it out ASAP, and I will let you know what we find out. This is a special treat, and it wasn't part of the original plan. But while I was back down here, I thought it would be a good opportunity to equip the Jeep with a set of max tracks. And I'm sure a lot of you are saying, finally. If you've watched other videos, you've likely seen these in action, but they are traction mats. Let's pretend that instead of being in my parents' gravel driveway in suburban Pennsylvania, that the Jeep is hub deep in pancake batter. I lay the max tracks down, jam them under the tires, theoretically drive right out. This tailgate mount for the max tracks is a pre-production unit by GP Factor. It bolts up to the Terraflex heavy-duty hinge for JK using its accessory mounting locations, and there's also a heavy-duty hinge for JL that it also bolts up to nicely. They're in the progress of creating a production model which improves some of the tolerances and also uses a proper latching mechanism instead of a ratchet strap, which is going to be much more elegant. For the time being, this gets the job done. Alright, so this week was all about the Jeep. It was really the idea of the Long Range America auxiliary fuel tank that prompted this detour back to Pennsylvania. But it was well worth it because with the new tires, the max tracks, and a lot of extra gas, I feel much better prepared for my trip to Newfoundland and Labrador. Plus, it was my mom's birthday, so I was happy to be here to catch that. My plan, first and foremost, is to make sure the Jeep is running well, And honestly, I just went driving around town and it was perfectly fine. So I'm hoping that it was just moisture or something in the fuel system and that it's run its course. But after that, I'm going to double time it back to where I came from, up through Maine, New Brunswick, and then in a matter of a day or two, end up in Nova Scotia, which is going to be a brutal drive, but I want to go right back to where I left off. So next week should be back to camping, scenery, rubbish cooking, and adventure. Thank yous this week go to OK Four Wheel Drive, Max Tracks, GP Factor, and Long Range America. So thanks for following along, and I'll see you next week.